Welcome to the language environment. Today we will be examining the language in football. Now, when I talk about football players, what automatically comes to mind? Okay, some people think of overweight players running around, wobbling every which way in direction, blocking, maybe running. These are common misconceptions. I'm here to tell you that there is more going on in football, especially regarding language. Language, according to the Webster Dictionary, the 4th edition, as we've talked about in our class, the dictionary is actually a helpful tool in helping us transcribe words and do other things in language. It's actually good in creating logic. It's called argument by definition. So, language is defined as the aggregate of words composing a system of communication between persons in speech or writing. So, it is the expression of thought in any way. So, when you're watching the football players on the field and you're seeing Peyton Manning or Ray Lewis, you're thinking, wow, he's doing the hand gestures and you can hear something going on, but what is being communicated among the players? What is being said? It's a thought. Let's take a look at the definition for language. Linguistics definition says that it is the study of language in any or all of its aspects. So, if we can determine that there's a language going on in football, then we can also look at some of the linguistics tools being used. I got that definition from our book that we read, How English Works, A Linguistic Introduction, Ann Curzon and Michael Adams. I had the privilege of taking my former coach out to lunch the other day. We were able to talk about football and language. I knew that if he thought that language was a vital part of football and communicating the plays and the various aspects that go into playing football, then I was on the right track. I'm here with Brad Baumberger, one of my former coaches, who is going to talk to you today about football and enriching environments. Brad, can you start us off with your experience and credentials?
Well, before I started teaching, I coached at 4 different universities, and I was overseas. I was the head coach of the Berlin Adlers. I coached at the University of Wyoming, the University of Colorado, Northeastern University in Boston. I was at the United States Naval Academy, and I actually coached at BSU for a month and a half before I left and went to the Naval Academy.
You believe that there is a language-specific environment in football?
Well, most definitely there's a language-specific environment. I think every business or organization has a unique language environment. The big thing about football is that it's done in a variety of different ways. It's done vocally, it's done with body gestures, it's done with hand gestures, it's done with acronyms, abbreviated words, symbols, a lot of different ways.
Down! Set! This guy, big guy, right, this guy right here, skinny pony,
Is this what he does? This? Look.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, Toast Cincinnati, fried chicken, squeeze it on the backside. Look. I'm ready for some football. Are you? Hey, let's party now.
So, we've probably all seen Peyton Manning, and we're just trying to kind of figure out what is all these hand gestures doing? What is he trying to do? Which leads me to my next question. What are the difficulties involved with communicating in a football environment?
Okay, what Peyton's got going on is when he comes to the line of scrimmage, he's trying to determine the threat. Then he's got to decide how he wants to block it. He has to decide whether he wants his linemen to block it or he wants his backs to help out. But he's also got to communicate with the center that's on the field, because the center it tells everybody where to go.
Oh, okay.
So between the center and the quarterback, they got to determine which way they're sending this blocking, and they've got to have it right on track, because Peyton can't say it's going one way and the center says it's going another way, because then when the play occurs, they got a mess.
Oh,
they got
okay.
a big mess. So they're trying to determine what's going to happen up here with all this blocking, where the backs are going to go, because that'll determine where he's going to get his protection. If he's got his protection on one side, he's got to be throwing hot on him.
To the outsider, it appears Peyton Manning is very bossy. He is. But the delay in getting the ball snapped has less to do with his personality than it does with his language.
Aim, T.
Manning uses a rare form of Gaelic at the line of scrimmage.
Aim, go on. Aim, T.
I mean, we all speak regular Gaelic, but Peyton's kind of into his own thing, you know. It takes me forever to translate it.
Go on. Tree. Aim. Yon. T.
My brother Cooper actually is the one that taught me Gaelic. He's really into it. It's got a personalized license plate.
What does it say, like Mr. Gaelic or something?
Why are you making fun of my brother?
So my next question is, in what ways is communication used in football? Like specifically, do you have any examples or plays we might be able to hear, Mr. Baumberger?
Yeah, in football, with 11 different guys doing 11 different things, they all have to think as one mind and act together. So for example, you might have hand gestures, you might have picture symbols, some sort of body gestures, terminology is the most common.
Let's go further into this rat maze. Morphology. What is the definition of morphology, and how is it used in football? According to Ann Curzon and Michael Adams, morphology is the study of word forms and the processes by which words are formed. Mr. Baumberger actually uses an example of the offensive line to talk about morphology and how together the line can actually create their own words, their own morphemes, and their own shortenings, their own blendings, their own alphabetism, all of their own information, so that they can actually process a play or a protection to fit the quarterback and the needs that he has. And so free morphemes that are open are called nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs used in football. Closed are prepositions, conjunctions, auxiliary verbs, determiners, pronouns, all once again used in football. Bound morphemes are both inflectional and derivational. Derivational changes the word, which could also be a way that you could audible
So,
if you were to use.
What would a typical play sound like, or a couple words that you might use to communicate on the field?
I could give you like, we used to have one in college, it was called the Rip Right Over Rozzy, Z Under Max. Man.
Okay, so in some of the words, have you ever like taken the English word that, or word that you've known and made it into like a kind of morphemed it or changed it?
Yeah, we used to, one year the offensive linemen liked to make up a bunch of stuff. And
those offensive linemen.
Yeah. So they got into the Gladiator one year, and they used to like to use Maximus and Spartacus and Minimus, and everything ended in us, you know.
Yeah.
So they used all those terms to dictate blocking assignments, who was going where.
Gotta tell you the truth, okay? I gotta tell you the truth. This is the truth, and I want you to know this. I started out this project by actually wanting to create football plays and use language to create football plays. Did I go too far into it? No, I actually didn't. I thought it would be more important to focus in on the language environment of football. But if I had gone into it, I would like to tell you that our diagramming and our sentence structuring and the syntax that we worked on would make for great football plays. Because if we could teach our students that need to learn information anyways and could learn language, how to break apart sentences easily, or how to break apart the diagram in their head, which would be very complicated. The S and the tree that we learned acts as the quarterback, and the NP or the VP or however you broke apart the sentence could actually act as the different players on the field. And the different players on the field would be directly related to the phrase or the noun that they were using. So if I said Saturday and that was a noun phrase, that could actually stand for a play that we had called on football or in football. Syntax could be something that could be used to really break down language in football and allow people to communicate quickly and effectively without the defense having any clue what's going on. The same thing could be true for the defense. If Ray Lewis wants to call an audible, he could say, the accident happened on a Saturday. And that could be play calls for his safeties, that could be play calls for his linemen, that could be play calls for the rest of the linebackers there, and it would be up to the person that is hearing the message to break apart that sentence quickly and effectively. And if you taught linguistics and it became second nature, you could actually do this in very quick and